Have you ever opened an export window, see all the options, and immediately gone? Nope. Well, today we're fixing that. Hi, welcome to Cat. I'm Cat. This is Pixel. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know what codecs are, how do they work, what's a container, how presets make your life easier, and how to choose the right one without crying. Okay, so let's start with the big scary word, codecs. Codec means compressor, decompressor, and its job is to make your video smaller without destroying the image. You see, raw video is just too big for storing, editing, or streaming. So codecs give us a way to handle this video efficiently without breaking everything. But you may wonder, how do they actually work? So codecs compress video by removing all the information your eyes probably won't notice, and by not saving the same information twice. So there are three main ways codecs actually compress video. The first one is spatial compression. This type of compression happens inside a single frame. So the codec would look at the frame and say, these pixels are basically all identical. I'm not gonna save them all. Typical example of this are blue skies, white walls, and blur backgrounds. So instead of storing millions of very slightly different types of blue, the codec will say, this area is blue. Trust me. Okay, so the second type is temporal compression. So this one will happen across frames. So most videos don't really change much between frame and frame. So instead of saving every full frame, the codec will say, this frame is the same as this frame, except for this little moving bit. For example, talking head videos. You know, like this one. So the codec will store one full frame and then only the changes. And the third one is the perceptual compression. You see, this one is a little bit sneaky. You see, codecs are designed around human vision, not perfection. They know we notice brightness more than color. We don't notice details as much in motion, and we don't see tiny changes in shadows. So codecs will reduce the color detail first, blur details during fast motion, but they will keep the sharp edges, like faces or text. That's why compression distortions usually do show in shadow areas, and the color may fall apart before the sharpness. So here's a quick guide for the most common codecs that we use. Okay, first of all, we do have the H.264, which is mostly compatible for YouTube videos and social media content. Like this very video that you're seeing right now was actually compressed using an H.264. Then we have the ProRes, which is most commonly used for editing and post-production. Then one of my favorites is the DNX HD, which is mostly used for AVIC workflows and broadcast. And finally, we do have the raw footage, which is mostly used for visual effects and color grading. So just as a little quick important note, we have lossy and lossless compression. Lossy compression throws some data away forever. So because of it, we're gonna get smaller files that are way easier to share and upload, like for example, H.264s for YouTube. And then we have the lossless or nearly lossless, which keeps almost everything. So the files are actually bigger and most commonly used during the edit process, like ProRes or DNX. So we need to be careful on which one we use, because whenever we push the compression a little bit too far, the codec will end up removing very important information and will run out of data to just hide all these distortions. So that's what's actually happening whenever you see blocky shadows, smearing, pixel mush, or things just looking crunchy. Okay, so moving on into the next topic, we're gonna be reviewing what containers are. So the containers are actually the extensions we see on these videos, like MOV, MP4, MXF. So it's basically just the box.
What's in the box?
That's going to contain all the video, audio, timecode, metadata. So it's very important to note that the file extension is only the container, not the codec. So you can have a QuickTime with an H.264 or a ProRes or a DNX. So you use the very same box, but for different codecs. So just as a quick guide of what's the difference between these three. Okay, so the first one is the QuickTime, which extension is .mov. This one is actually really flexible. It's great for editing, great for masters. It can handle ProRes, DNX, and H.264, and can actually support timecode and multitracks. Then we have the MP4, which is actually great for deliveries. It's super compatible with multiple softwares, so you can play them pretty much anywhere. So they're great for sharing and upload to the internet, and it's compatible with codecs like H.264 and H.265. And finally, the MXF. MXF stands for Material Exchange Format, and it's built for broadcast. So this one has very strict specs. It has great metadata and audio support, so we commonly use it with DNX or HD-Cam codecs. So to summarize, MOVs are flexible, MP4s are friendly, and MXFs are professional. Okay, so before we finish, I would really like to just mention what presets are. So a preset is a bundle of pre-made settings that have already been tested, so you don't have to guess whenever you export your media. So a preset will already select the codec, the container, the resolution, the bitrate, the frame rate, and the audio settings. But you can also save your own presets, so they can be ready for you and accessible with just one click. Okay, so just to summarize all the information we reviewed today, codecs decide how your video is compressed. And they do so by finding what stays the same, what we won't notice, and what doesn't need to be saved twice. Containers are the box they get into, and presets are a ready-made plan to export efficiently. If this video saved you from export panic, please hit like and subscribe, and leave me in the comments any questions you may have. And I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao!